Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series of fruits from Johanna Basford Small Victories, and today we have this apple with some apple blossom, and I found this very pretty picture. I'll come in a little closer for you of apple and blossom. Whoops, let's put them central. Hold on. It's not a particularly in focus picture, but it gives us a good idea. There we go. So we've got our pink blossoms, our quite darkish green and woody stalks, and the apples themselves. So we can use this as a guide and colour our apple. So we can choose either this one or this one. I'm thinking this one might be slightly easier to copy, probably because we can see the whole apple really. So we're going to do that. Let's just move. We've got our Polychromos pencils ready. I think I will start with quite a darkish red, to be honest. I do want to be able to get darker, so I don't want to go with my very darkest colour right away. But what's this one? I think it could be. I'm just trying to decide what sort of red. It's quite pinky, so I think I'm going to go for the madder. Actually, it's quite a pinky red, and then we can always go over it if it's too pink. So I'm just going to start down here at the bottom and just mark out the area that I want to be red. Now what I've noticed about the apple is that it doesn't fade. It's actually quite a solid line-ish. It fades a little. But usually when I colour an apple, I will fade the colours into each other. It looks like it's not necessary, but I shall have a go anyway. I'll fade it a little bit. So I'm going to make it. I mean, it doesn't matter how much red you do, and you know, it doesn't need to be an exact copy. I'm just going to start to fade that now, like that. I notice there's a little bit round there. Put a little bit around there. Ooh, sounds like it's raining hard. There we go. I've gone out of the lines. That wasn't my intention. Now, this bit here and this bit here look quite yellow. On this apple, we've got a bit more green. I'd quite like to do a little bit of green rather than just yellow. There we go. So I'm going to do, we could do a greeny yellow, we could do, I think that's quite a dark green on that one, so actually I'm going to use this green. This is the leaf green for a little bit down here, just a bit of green, like that has. And then this sort of greeny yellow. I think I'm going to fade it into some May green. That green wasn't the best choice, but we'll get it working. We'll put this over the top here. Like that. And then we'll get some yellow in there. I'm thinking... yeah, this yellow. This is the dark Naples ochre for this bit. Don't press too hard. We want some other colours in here. You can blend it in a little bit to the other colours, like that. Okay, I want to do this little bit in here where see here it's very brown in there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab, I think this brown might work nicely. This is the Van Dyck brown. And I'm going to pop that in here. Just going to fade it out of that central bit. Like that. Just trying to copy that bit in the picture there. Okay, now I'm going to get a darker red and do a little bit of work there. This is the dark red. So I'm going to start just really intensifying the red down here at the bottom. Just going over and over it. Notice we've got our darkest bit here, but I'm just going to make the whole of this dark bottom bit a little bit darker. I think like that. And then I'm going to swap back to my madder and go back over the rest. Try and sort of blend it in a little bit. Now this colour really does look a bit odd, but if you look at that, it's not too far away from that colour. But I'm not going to put any more down. I'm going to grab the May green and go over the green and this overlap bit in the May green. I'm going to tone it down just a tad and it will just be easier on my eye anyway. Now this bit of red round here I didn't want to put any more down because it's quite a pale bit. But I'm just going over it a little bit with the green. A bit here too. And then last of all we can now go over with the red, yellow, sorry, the dark Naples ochre. And I'm going to put that over quite a lot of area. So firstly over this brown and under the leaf, this top area here. It's really darkening up, but I think that's right if you look at this bit. Now what we haven't done is left a shine mark because it's here where this flower is. So maybe we should have done that. But I'm going to colour over that bit. Get it all blending in. So there is our apple. And then we have our stick in the apple. Now the colour that I used for the brown around here would have been perfect, I think. But we'll use something else just because I want it to look a little bit different. I think it needs to be quite a grey brown. Maybe our dark sepia might just work for that. And it doesn't look quite like it's been drawn. Trying to just make it a little bit dark on the edges, but it's such a narrow thing that I don't think I can do that. Just checking, I think that's it. Now our leaves are actually quite dark. I'm thinking chromium green opaque. Now the veins on the leaves are actually paler than the leaf itself. I can't do that because they're black. So I'm going to have to, what you could do is, I'll show you with this one, is colour it and leave a white bit above it. Like that. So fade it down towards the next one. Like that. And then you get, it looks lighter. It's quite tricky. And the same here, so dark here and then fade towards that first one. Then we can just fit in the edge a bit. We don't want, I don't really want any white right on the edge. Just sort of blend it in. There we go. I'm alright with that. I don't know how it looks to you, but I'm quite happy with that. Now these are going to be much trickier. It's a much smaller, so I don't think I'm going to do them in that way. I think I'll just make them darker in the centre and lighter towards the edge. In the way that that sort of looks, particularly this one. Now I'm looking at the centre of that, trying to work out, because there is yellow. There's that to think about in a minute. And then this one. Now this very pale pink colour is something we don't really have in our Polychromos. We'd have this more darker one, but these ones that are more open, that are pale. So this is like the open pale one, and these are like the smaller darker ones. But we can cheat a little bit. I'm going to just grab a lighter green. Just trying to decide which one to use. These are quite yellowy. I think maybe I will use the May green that we used on the apple. And I'm just going to colour the edges of these leaves. Oh, my poor boy, he'll be getting wet. It's raining. Oh well. Might not be raining where he is, to be fair. I'm going to go over that just a bit. There we go. Now, we want to do, let's do the smaller ones first. They have actually drawn with bits of leaf underneath, aren't they? So let's go back to our chromium green opaque. There you go. So hard for you to see. I'm just going to block these in, they're so teeny. Actually, what I want to do is make that stem a little bit thicker. It needs more than a line to hold up this stem. We can colour it in. Why not? Let's just do that. There we go. Now, these smaller ones, I'm thinking this sort of colour. This is the fuchsia. I think it looks quite like this. It's very intense, isn't it? Which is exactly what we want. I'm trying to make it a little lighter towards the tops of the petals. I think that's what they're doing here. They're a bit blurred. It's not easy for me to see. But it's sort of, I'm doing what I think sort of would work. I am not happy with the fact we don't have any shine on that apple. I'm going to try and contrive some shine. Now I'm going to use my eraser, and I would like a bit of shine here. There, that's better. You may not want to worry about that. Now the centre of here, we've got quite a bright yellow. It's almost a slightly orangey yellow, so I'm going to use this one, which is 107. It is the cadmium yellow. It's quite bright. I'm going to use it for the whole of this centre area quite lightly, and then I'm actually going to grab the slightly darker one here, which is 108, which is the dark cadmium yellow, and just put a few touches of this around the centre on some of these sticky outy bits, for want of a better word. There we go. Now we need this to be quite delicate. That's going to be tricky. I'm going to use the Pink Madder Lake because it is a lighter version of the fuchsia, and we need it pale. So what do? Well, we hold it quite near the end, we hold it on its side, and we apply it really lightly and gently. And I just want the lightest layer to start with, like this. Just take your time. Just gently massage it on the page, don't press. let the paper take the colour off the pencil. There we go. Now occasionally there are a few darker bits here and I can't work out quite why or where, so I'm thinking maybe on the edges, maybe it's a bit darker on those edges. Just draw in a few slightly darker bits. Don't have to do this if you don't feel it works for you. There we go. And then I'm going to grab some white. Now when you use a white, well, when you use any pencil, you may find there's a bit of colour on the end from last time you used it. It's particularly critical with white because I'm just going to scribble it in my notebook. Because with white you're often using it to try and make something very pale if you've got another colour on it. Like I had a bit of the pink from the watermelon, then it's going to transfer. And now I'm gently going to just use this over the top of that pale pink just to blend it well, to push it down into the paper a little bit and to just make sure there's no white paper showing through. It sounds a bit ridiculous because I'm using white, but I just want it to look pink. There we go. Now I'm not very happy with the centre of this, so I'm going to use a white pen to do a little bit with that. I'm just going to go over some of the black because I don't feel that it would have these sorts of lines. So I'm just slightly covering them over, softening it a little bit in the middle, like that. There we are. Now I'm going to do a little bit of shadow. So I've got my dark sepia, we did use this before, trying to make sure that I don't, just push that away, don't smudge the gel pen. And I'm just going to pop some shadow under there, a little bit above, not too much, under the leaf. And where the petals are over the leaves, because they wouldn't be lying right down, they would just create a little shadow, and then just really gently around the centre there, just to make it look like that centre of the flower is sitting up just a tad. There we are. Yeah, so here's our goal, our guide picture, and there's our finished picture. I think it's okay. To be honest, I found that apple, although it looks quite like that, it's not how I would normally colour one, so it feels a little bit uncomfortable for me, but it's okay. The only thing we need to do, I think, is to put a little bit of shadow around the apple to make it look a bit more rounded. So I've grabbed my dark sepia again and just going to put a bit under here, just quite gentle. Just gently build it up. You don't want a big streak of brown, just want it to look shadowy. If you put a little bit on the sides as well. And hopefully make sure you go right to the edge. I didn't there and it looked a little odd. Hopefully we can just look a little bit more spherical. There we go. I'm going to finish fiddling now, but there is our apple. Let's take that one away. I think we can come in a bit closer now. I just needed to fit it all in. There we go. So there is our apple. So yes, thank you for watching. Got some cherries tomorrow. I usually do them red. I've got some black cherries which are still quite red, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But anyway, be interesting. So yes, thank you for watching. Yeah, I hope you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.